Hey, Lunch Tuckers, it's Tracy, and I'm glad that I'm with you here again today. You can tell the humidity is going down a little bit here in Minnesota. My hair is not quite, my curls are not quite as out of control as they have been the last few weeks, and for that I am happy. I am a true Minnesotan at heart, and I like the cold weather, so this is a good thing. Now, for those of you who might have been on my Facebook Live yesterday, it raised a little controversy. If you were on with me, you'll remember that I talked about the fact that when you're starting a brand new online business, you really don't need a big fancy website. Well, I got a comment that said that anybody who was teaching that you shouldn't have a website to have an online business shouldn't be teaching about online business. Let me clarify. If you are going to have an online business, at some point you will need a web presence. I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer. However, I see far too many brand new business owners immediately spending all of their time, money, and attention on their website without even knowing if they have an idea that's going to sell. And inevitably, 6 months, 3 months down the road, when I ask them how their business is going, they're still just working on their website, which is not bringing in any money and is probably costing them a short arm and a leg because you have graphic designers, you have web designers, you have all of the development pieces to it, not to mention the cool plugins that you may want to buy. So it adds up quickly, both in terms of time and money. So to clarify what I was saying yesterday, if you're brand new, don't start with a big website. You can start with your domain, and you will want to have a site in place where you can host things, like you can host your videos, you can host your blogs, but you don't want to put a ton of money into it from the beginning because no one's going to find it. Nobody accidentally stumbles upon a brand new website. There's a lot of SEO involved and advertising and promotion, and so don't put all your eggs in that one basket, okay? So, gotta love a little controversy, right? Today we're going to talk about freebies. And there are a lot of different ways that people think about freebies. Today I'm going to talk about the way to use them to really build and grow your list. And freebies can mean different things to different people. Some people use a free podcast as a freebie, or maybe a free video, a sample chapter from their book, a cheat sheet, a guide. The sky's really the limit on this. And what they do is they offer this freebie as a way to get people on their list. Now, these are also not always called freebies. They might be called something else, like a freemium or a free giveaway. If you have a brick and mortar store, you could do something like a coupon. That would be a type of freebie. Here's the key to a good freebie. Number one, you want it to be a quick win. You want it to be a quick win for the person who's consuming the content. So, for that reason, something like a 5-week mini course probably isn't going to be, a really great thing to use as a freebie because it's going to take people too long to consume the content. Or an entire ebook. If you have an ebook that's 100 pages long, even though the content might be really valuable, that's going to overwhelm most people. So instead of offering the whole book, you might want to offer just a chapter or a really cool summary that is sort of a checklist of the different concepts in the book. The next thing is you want to make the subscriber or the new customer fall in love with you when they get your freebie. So, put a little bit of time into this. Now, you don't want this to slow you down. In much the same way you don't want a big fancy website slowing you down, waiting for that to be developed. You don't want your freebie to slow you down. Probably you already have something that will work. Maybe you have a really awesome article that you wrote one time that you could just send to someone on Fiverr, get it formatted, so that it looks really nice, turn it into a PDF, and there's your freebie. Maybe you could break down a bunch of more complicated information that you have and turn it into a cheat sheet or a guide or a worksheet that they can go through to get a certain end result that they might be looking for. So you want them to fall in love with you and make it, in order to do that, you want to make it something that's really, really personal to you and looks good. You don't want to just throw something out. You're fostering a relationship with these people. Then, after they get the freebie, follow up with them. Another really common problem is that people put all this time and energy into their freebie and they offer it and they get somebody really awesome on their list, and then they don't really have a plan in place for what's going to happen once the people are on the list. So think with the end result in mind. If you know that you're going to be offering a program in 6 months, or you're going to be selling a new CD at Christmas, or you have a book coming out in 6 weeks, it's great to start offering the freebie ahead of time as a way to build your list, but you have to be offering them something between now and the time that your book comes out or your CD is released or whatever. You can't just hope that they're going to remember who you are 6 weeks or 3 months from now. So what you'll want to do is, before you even offer that freebie, have a plan in place for how you're going to stay connected. Are you going to do a weekly podcast? Are you going to do blog posts once a week? Are you going to drip out other content to them? It can be different, and be creative. People fall in love with you when you're creative and when you're fun. Be, unusual, not in a weird way, but, be fun so that people will remember you and they start to really feel your personality. If your freebie is just a black and white piece of paper with a bunch of words on it, that might be really great information, but no one's going to fall in love with you over that. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. What would really get your personality out there and make people start feeling like they want to get to know more about you? Now, like I said, you want this not only to be a quick win for them, you want it to be quick for you. Don't get hung up on this. Repurpose something you already have, or if you get asked the same question over and over again, let's say you go to a networking event and you tell people what you do and they always have the same question, then that would be the answer to that question might make a really great freebie. And you don't even have to say, I always get asked this, but let's say you are a nutritionist and you go to a networking event and somebody asks, oh, that's really interesting. How do you feel about the paleo movement? Maybe that's a question you get asked all the time as a nutritionist. Well, then a great freebie for you would be the paleo diet and maybe the pros and the cons or how you feel about it or something about the paleo diet. Now, that's just one example, but it's a good way to come up with an idea of something that people would find valuable. So you can answer a question that you get asked all the time. Whatever you offer should be in line with what you're actually going to be selling later on, whether it is a book or a CD. If you're releasing a CD in a few months, maybe you want to offer a track from your CD or a track from a previous CD that you've released. You can give them a little snapshot of what this is going to be like. Or maybe you can give them a behind the scenes video of you recording the CD. Something that really lets your personality come through. Behind the scenes, anything are always really, really popular. So that's a good idea. Or, like I said, a sample chapter to a book. If you're offering an online program, maybe you want to give them a little sneak peek of one of the worksheets that you'll be offering in the program or one of the tools that you'll be promoting in the program, and kind of give them an insider's view that way. Now, the way you use a freebie effectively is to only give it to someone who has given you their email address. Now, the reality is people really protect their email addresses today. So you aren't going to just, most of the time, just be able to grab somebody's email address. They aren't going to just give it to you willingly. So what you want to offer them is something valuable that they will find valuable. It may not be valuable to everybody in the world, but that's okay, because you don't want everybody in the world on your list. In order to give them the freebie, you want to make sure that they are committed to you and they're interested in what you're doing. So this is my recommendation. I am a big proponent of double opt-in when it comes to emails. And if you've seen me before talk about this, there are other videos right below this one that will discuss it more in depth. The reason I really think double opt-in is a good way to go is that there are a lot of people out there who will just troll for free content. And they'll go out there, they'll grab your free content, and you will never hear from them again. it's just too easy. They can just go out there, put a fake email address in. They don't even need to put a real email address in, and your freebie will be delivered to them. And that, and I guess that would happen if you had a pop-up freebie. But the thing is, if people don't go to the extra step of hitting the confirmation link in their email that you send to them saying, please confirm that you want to be a part of my list, if they can't go to that extra step for you, then typically they aren't going to be a great person to have on your list. So then you've just given away this free thing that you've worked really hard on, and you're not getting anything in return for it. So maybe that's okay with you. Maybe you're a giver. But if you're actually truly trying to fill a list, build a list of people who are going to love your products and buy them from you, you want people who are going to interact with you, who are likely to actually really enjoy the content that you are giving to them. And if they're not willing to go to the step of clicking and confirming their email address, then actually they're not somebody I really want on my email list. Because there have been studies done on this. People who don't double opt-in often do not, are not as responsive. So that's how I do it. Someone opts in. I have a landing page on my website. If you go to launchtechmadeeasy.com, you will see that I don't have a real website. I have a landing page. And on that landing page, there's a button. When people click the button, an opt-in form pops up where I ask for their name and their email address. If they give me their name and email address, they will then get an email that says, please confirm that you want to be a part of my list. Once they click the button that says that they want to be a part of my list, they will get their freebie. Okay, so it's still an easy process. It requires one extra step on their part. But the freebie is pretty awesome, and so I feel like, you know what, it's okay to ask them to take that extra step. The other thing is, then they are automatically added onto my list, and at that point, they'll get blog posts from me and the videos that I record and different things like that, and they will also have access to my website. You'll notice that most people, if they just go to my website, don't actually have access to any content. And that's a strategic move that I have made to build my list that way. But once they're on my list, they will have access to all of my blog posts and articles. Now, once you have gotten your freebie all put together, there are a couple of different things you can do with it. A lot of people will run Facebook ads that will send people to their freebie. You can also promote it within your own blog posts. So if you're writing a blog post, you can put a little link in the blog post that says, hey, I have a really great freebie that goes along with this that might really help you with this particular concept. Click here to receive it. And then when they click the button, they're taken to an opt-in form where they can enter their name and email address. In that situation, you probably don't even need a landing page. You could just stick an opt-in form and attach an opt-in form to the link. And you can do that using, there's all different types of services that will do that for you. And if you have a question about it, just let me know because I'll be happy to help you out. You can also promote your freebie in a bio section of any guest post that you do. In most cases, reputable companies that are asking you to guest post for them or where you submit a guest post will allow at least one link in your bio. Now, think about it this way. If you're only given one link in your bio, and let's say you're blogging for the Huffington Post, and I don't know what their exact requirements are, but let's say you're blogging for the Huffington Post and you know thousands of people are going to see this email or this article. Would you rather have that link just take them to your website where they could choose to look around a little bit and maybe they'll find a place to give you their email address? Or would you rather that one link at the bottom in your bio take them to a place where they could opt in, give you their email address, and get more information? I would choose the opt-in any day. And the only way you're going to do that is with a landing page and a freebie attached to it. So that's a really slick way to build your email list if you're guest posting. So those are my tips today on freebies. And you'll see again, if you go to launchtechmadeeasy.com, you'll see how I use it as part of a bigger strategy. I love that freebie. I think it's a pretty awesome freebie. It's a technology roadmap. And if you do opt in for it, you'll see how the freebie is part of my bigger strategy for helping you to build your list. So you may want to check that out as well. And I hope that you join me tomorrow. I don't see that there's any questions today, so we'll end on that note. I'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.